Welcome to Equestrian Fitness for the Long Ride with the Sweaty Equestrian. I'm personal trainer and endurance rider Tamara Baysinger, and I'm here to help you ride stronger in a day and longer in your life. Hey rider, welcome back to the podcast. As I'm recording this, I am about 4 days out from the so-called toughest half marathon in the Northwest, and I completed the race. I knew I would complete it, but it was not super easy because, as you know, if you've been listening in to earlier episodes, I went into the race a bit undertrained compared to where I would like to have been, and this race goes about 9 miles uphill and then 4 miles downhill. And I actually felt pretty good on the uphill. I just kind of go into low gear and chug along and past a surprising number of people just going up the hill, not too fast, but we're going up the hill. And I ran almost all the way up. I did walk a little bit where it gets really steep right before the summit. Pretty much everybody walks there unless you're like running to win. But anyway, so I felt pretty good on the uphill. And normally when I run this race, the downhill is not that hard. And I did train for the downhill running because if you have ever done that, you know that it sounds easy and it is easier on the cardiovascular system, but it's much harder on your structures than running on the level or running uphill. And despite having done some downhill training, knowing that, boy, did I feel that downhill part this year. It was just way harder than it ever has been before. So I was kind of hurting by the time I got to the finish line, but I ran across it, and to my great surprise, I was only a little bit more than a minute slower than my best time on this race, which was my original goal was to beat that best time. So while I didn't beat it, and I went in kind of undertrained, I at least came close to it. So I felt actually pretty good about that. I was in about the top quarter for my age group and gender, and I was I was 900 and something, I can't remember what, out of almost 2,000 runners. So, somewhere mid-pack. That's solid. I can live with that. And now I am delighted to be shifting back to strength training, although since the race, I have only done upper body strength training because my legs are still pretty sore. I think I'll do a little light run today and try a little strength training with the legs and get back into it. But I am headed toward an endurance ride this coming weekend, so I want to balance out getting back into my fitness routine with not going into a 50 and then a 25-mile endurance ride back-to-back, already fatigued. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. But today what I really want to talk about is the number one reason for rider fitness failure and what to do about it. Because we all know it's really hard to stick with a fitness program, right? We all have taken up a program with the best of intentions. We're going to follow through this time. And then we don't. And the most common reason that I see that happen is because the rider's focus is on the wrong thing. Think about what usually motivates most people to start a fitness program. And maybe you're in this category too. It's true for most people. What is it? We look in the mirror and we see something that we don't like, right? It's our looks. Our physical appearance tends to be the primary motivator that gets most riders to start a fitness program. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I'm kind of a fan of anything that gets us going and gives us that little juice of motivation to get started with a fitness program. But the problem with looks being your primary motivator is that it doesn't last, right? And I think a big reason for that is that the physical appearance kind of lags behind other positive indicators of fitness. It's just a slower thing to change, especially if we're kind of on the older end of things. So people give up. And it's really unfortunate because they don't notice or don't give enough weight to the other benefits that they're getting, even if the looks haven't followed along with that yet. And besides that, you know what the other problem with being motivated by looks is? Well, we're all going to lose ground in that department with age, right? Of course we are. No matter how fit we stay or get at a later point in our life, we're never going to be 25 again. So using that as our primary motivation for fitness in the end is not going to be a very reliable motivator. And that's why most people, most riders, fall away from their fitness commitments. They're not getting the look they want as fast as they want. But you know what? There is so much more to gain. And I think that it will help us succeed in our rider fitness if we refocus, if we readjust our focus so that our primary goal is not the physical appearance that we're looking for, but rather the other benefits that are to be had. And for us equestrians, wow, do we have a lot of those. We especially, more than other people, we equestrians have more to gain from fitness, quite aside from how our butt looks in our breeches, right? Obviously, we have a sport that requires a certain amount of strength and mobility just to be able to participate. It's kind of the price of admission. We have to be able to care for our horses, stack hay, push wheelbarrows, pick out hooves, mount, ride, do the things. You know, we have to be able to do a certain level of physical activity just to play the game that is not necessary for someone who just gets up and goes to work in an office and comes home and watches TV and goes to bed, rinse, repeat, right? So we have a higher ante just to play. But more than that, we want to be pain-free also, right? If we want to have fun during doing our sport, not just be able to do it, but to really enjoy doing it, and maybe to ride competitively, we really need to be riding comfortably without a lot of strain and pain going on in our bodies. And then, of course, there's the horses. And we all know that our own fitness, our own symmetry, our own strength directly impacts how our equine partners feel and how they are able to perform. And guess what? The horse doesn't care how we look. Not one bit. That has nothing to do with it. But the horse does care how we move with balance and precision and strength and control. And the great news is those are the things that we gain from a good fitness program long before the physical appearance that we might also want to see in the mirror happens. The other gains come first, and then the appearance changes. This is something that most riders observe going through the Leaner, Stronger Rider program. What do you see change first when you start the program? It's not fat loss. It's not even muscle. It's strength, because your body is building the neuromuscular connections first. It's neurological. And you see that before you see that beautiful, lean, strong muscle coming on. And then much after that, after your metabolism is roaring along and you're eating more food and you're lifting heavier weights, then the fat loss occurs. Then you get that flatter tummy or whatever appearance-based goal you were looking for. So if you are going for the appearance first, you are going to miss out on the triumph of those other arguably more important gains that came first. And by the way, while I am thinking of Leaner, Stronger Rider, this is, when this episode comes out, this is the last week of April 2026, when you can get the program $70 off for lifetime access. And I'll put the link to that in the show notes. It's thesweatyequestrian.com/leaner, as in Leaner, Stronger Rider. So anyway, what we are driving at with Leaner, Stronger Rider or any fitness program is real physiological and mental and emotional change that, when learned, give us a much fuller picture of fitness than just what we look like in the mirror or what we want to look like in the mirror. So what are some of those other things? We already talked about what equestrians have to gain in terms of being pain-free, being able to do the sport in general, and how it affects our horses. But there's also better riding performance to be had. One rider in my program recently reported back that she just did a 75-mile ride, an endurance ride, and felt better afterwards and better able to care for her horse than she's ever been able to. Another one reported back that she was able to post the trot for a 50-mile ride for the first time ever. Another rider said that for the first time in years, she felt really connected with her horse and like she could keep her leg on and connect both physically and mentally with the horse in a way that she hadn't been able to in a long time because she didn't have the physical nuanced control and strength, and now she does. And yet another rider said that her horse used to root a lot at the bit and she couldn't stop him doing it. He was getting worse because he was getting away with it. Well, now she's got the core strength to keep him from doing that. And guess what? No more rooting. So all these things will change before the appearance in the mirror changes. What else? How about our confidence and our ability to adjust to different circumstances? This is part of understanding fitness as a fuller picture than just what we look like, or just the weight that we want to lose, or just the strength that we want to gain, but instead having it be an integral part of our lives as a whole. And what I mean by that is, as you learn how to do this, you learn how to adjust for the circumstances of any given day or week or even season. For example, if for some reason you have to take a break from working out, maybe you get injured, you will know intuitively, if you've been practicing this for a while, to really dial in your nutrition a little extra and have that part be really strong, even though your fitness isn't going as, or your workouts rather, aren't going as strong right now. And that is going to be okay with you because you have a broader perspective. You know that it's just a season. You know that you know how to handle it, and you are going to come through and be able to get back to your workouts when it's appropriate, and it's going to be okay. Another example might be if you go through a really stressful period, say your job is going away, they're shutting down your workplace, and you are dealing with an extraordinary amount of stress. Well, maybe this is not the time to do really intense workouts. Maybe this is the time to go for a walk or do some yoga instead. And again, you're going to be okay with that because you understand that it's all a part of this bigger picture, and you don't just have this aesthetic goal that you're trying for. And if you're not making progress toward that right now, if all you're doing right now is maintaining or maybe even losing a little ground, then you're failing. Well, no, actually, you're not failing at all. You're just adjusting to the situation as it is for now. It's a season, and it's going to be okay. That is part of being a lifelong fit rider. What else do we get, though? We get more than that. You should be, as you develop this bigger fitness picture, as you get into this habit of being a rider who cares about fitness, you're going to find yourself sleeping better. You're going to find nagging pain going away. One day you're going to be going down the stairs and you're going to notice that knee that usually hurts when you go downstairs, I'll be darned, it doesn't hurt anymore. And nagging shoulder pain is another good one. I recently went through this. I have been dealing with some persistent shoulder pain for several months now as I focused on my running. And actually, I mentioned it to my doctor when I was there for my annual checkup, and she suggested that I be careful to avoid any overhead strength work. And I thought, I don't think that's it, because even though I'm not strength training a lot right now, when I do, the shoulder actually feels better. And so when I started back to strength training, because I couldn't wait until after the half marathon, I started a little bit before that. So I've been back at it for a couple weeks now, and I've been doing all my upper body work, including overhead shoulder work, and the shoulder pain is already almost gone. Cool. That is a huge benefit of fitness that has nothing to do with how I look in the mirror, but I sure feel better. Also, riders report back that afternoon energy slump, gone. That dreading the workouts, gone. They actually look forward to the workouts because they feel good afterwards. It's become a positive thing in their life. It is a gift to themselves. And perhaps most of all, for those who have spent a lifetime because of culture and experience and whatever else, focused on how they look and that feeling like it's what matters and your weight and all that is what matters. You can feel confident instead of anxious about your body all the time. You can just enjoy food because you know that you are back in control. You can enjoy all these fitness wins that you are getting, the ones that come first, the quality sleep, the reduced pain, the increased energy, the better riding, the improved confidence. All those things tend to happen before the image in the mirror changes. And if you are motivated by those things, if you notice those things, then guess what? While you are chasing all those other wins, the looks will take care of themselves. The physical appearance will come. It will take care of itself. But in the meantime, you can enjoy the process with all these other benefits that come along with it. So I want to encourage you, if you are struggling to get started or to stay motivated, look for the wins. Enjoy the full picture of what lifelong rider fitness means, and let the looks take care of themselves as you simply ride stronger in a day and longer in your life. Want to get more sweaty? Subscribe to my newsletter at thesweatyequestrian.com/newsletter. And remember, you have what it takes to be a full athletic partner for your horse. Saddle up strong.